What's going on, everyone? So, when the Los Angeles Lakers ended up trading for Dorian Finney Smith, that was a huge pickup. And I mean, it's really paid its dividends, in my opinion. Um, I thought, one, you got very good value for him, right? You didn't have to sell the farm in order to acquire him, for one, which was good. Two, he's everything that the Lakers needed at the time and still do more now than ever, right? I've talked about Dorian Finney Smith and Jared Vanderbilt are arguably the two most important players now. They got Luka and LeBron on this team currently, just because you don't have anyone else that can do the things that they can do. But the other big thing, the other big surprise was Dorian Finney-Smith looked like he was on his way to Memphis, right? It looked like he was, like, it was about as good as done for a moment. And then out of left field, out of the darkness, out of the shadows, boom, here comes the Lakers, and end up swooping in and taking Dorian Finney-Smith. And that, again, has been a huge pickup for the Lakers. Just his defensive versatility, what he's done out there on the basketball court. But even more so now, because the Lakers went and traded for Luka. So having Dorian Finney-Smith as a guy, which also makes you kind of wonder if that's why the Lakers swooped in immediately and got him. Because at the time that they traded for Dorian Finney-Smith was around the time that supposedly the Lakers were having the conversations about Luka. So I wonder if they were kind of like, hey, Dorian Finney-Smith might be our in to making Luka feel comfortable, which you've seen it. Dorian Finney-Smith and Luka are like BFFs out there. They're joking, they're laughing, in the practices. Like, Dorian Finney-Smith gave Luka that comfort, right? Gave him that guy that, they're still best friends. They still, they both have talked about how they text all the time, even before the trade and all that stuff. Like, they're still brothers, right? Like, so having Dorian Finney-Smith really does give you that in, and Dorian Finney-Smith's extension is coming up and all that stuff. So I imagine he sticks around, especially now that you got Luka. They both talked about how they wanted to play with each other again at some point, and now they're on the Lakers together. And I do think Dorian Finney-Smith is really going to benefit even further playing alongside Luka because he's familiar, right? So he knows where Luka wants him on the basketball court. He knows where Luka likes to throw that outlet pass, right? Like, so Dorian Finney-Smith being able to play off of Luka, I do think is huge. I do think it was a huge acquisition for the Lakers. I think Dorian Finney-Smith really, one, kind of gives you that guy that can help keep Luka here long term, because Luka's going to need a new contract soon coming up. And, to have Dorian Finney-Smith, especially if Dorian Finney-Smith ends up signing long term and you can get him a new contract, if you can, he can kind of be, again, your kind of entry point to keeping Luka long term, because they have that relationship, right? And Luka, there was even talks about, like, man, like, Dallas just keeps getting rid of all the people that I like. And Dorian Finney-Smith was one of those people, right? Dorian Finney-Smith was one of those guys that Luka really liked. It was his best friend on the team. And so I do think that is massive, just for Dorian Finney-Smith and his production. But also Dorian Finney-Smith just gives you a guy that just does everything out there on the basketball court, right? He can defend all 5 positions. He's the only guy in the league that has and done it for, at least 10 minutes of action per game, or not per game, but, on the season. He's a guy that still shooting the 3 ball very well. Not as well as he was in Brooklyn, but still shooting the 3 ball well. His attempts aren't as high as they were, and he's in there to be that just defensive monster, right? The hustle play, the dirty work guy, right? The do everything, rebound the basketball, defend. Also, he's not playing as many minutes. His role isn't as big, obviously, because he's on a team like the Lakers that's trying to win a championship rather than a Brooklyn team that was just a bad Brooklyn team. But you look so far with the Lakers, 17 games played. He's averaging 25 minutes per game. You also got to keep in mind, he was on minute restriction. We haven't gotten an update if whether or not he still is, but he was on a minute restriction, and, has missed some games and missed some time with the Lakers because the Lakers are trying to be very cautious, and they obviously, right then, you want him as healthy as possible come playoff time. And I could see now that Luka, again, is on the roster, his minutes kind of being expanded on. Also, the Lakers are probably going to play a ton of small ball, and Dorian Finney-Smith is huge for the small ball units because you can slot him in essentially 2 through 5, really, right? I mean, Lakers have started him at the 2 already on several occasions. So his versatility is really huge for the Lakers. So I wouldn't be shocked if Dorian Finney Smith in the back half of the season, or at least particularly come playoff time, maybe they try to keep him around 25 minutes right now just to get through the season. But come playoff time, I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing 30 minutes a game. I also think he should be a guy that's starting. I mean, I think that's a general consensus thought. I think we all are kind of on the same page about that. Like, hey, he should be starting over Rui. Maybe the Lakers make that change sooner rather than later. But nonetheless, I do think come playoff time, that's probably something that the Lakers are going to end up having to do. But 17 games, 25 minutes per game. He is shooting 46.7% from the floor on 5.3 attempts on average. He's shooting 3.8 attempts, which is down from 5.4 attempts he was shooting with Brooklyn. He is shooting 37.5% from three-point range. So just under 38% from three-point range. He's shooting 69.2% from two-point range. Now, it's on 1.5 attempts compared to 2.6 that he was taking with Brooklyn, in which he was shooting 51%. He has an EFG of 60%, which is slightly down from the 60.7% he was with Brooklyn. His free throw shooting is up to 85.7%, but on 0.4 attempts, compared to Brooklyn, 62.5%. He's a career 72% free throw shooter. He's averaging 3 rebounds per game compared to 4.6. But again, he's playing 4 fewer minutes. He's averaging 1.3 assists, a steal, half a block, and 6.7 points, which is down from the 10.4. But again, he's got a very important and big role on the Lakers, particularly being that defensive stopper, being that defensive menace out there, and just, again, his impact. The offense is the cherry on top, right? When you're talking about Dorian Finney-Smith. He's not out there to be a 20-point-a-game guy. He's out there to play the role, do the dirty work, hustle, work hard, right? Dive after loose balls, defend multiple positions. Again, just be that real stabilizer for the Lakers, right? Be a guy that can be that swing man, hit the open shot, hit the occasional shot, right? And he's a guy that we've seen him knock down 3-4 threes in a game. So he's a guy that on any given night can knock those down for you, knock them down with confidence, but he also doesn't, there's nights where he doesn't even get a field goal attempt. But you need those guys. That's fine. You need a guy like him and a Jared Vanderbilt. Like I said, he is so important to the success of this team, him and Jared Vanderbilt, because those are the only two guys that you have that can do the things that they can do, which is be that those defensive versatile, just impact players, right? He's a veteran. He's been there. He's done that, right? He was on Luka's team when they went to the conference finals and all that stuff. So he's a guy that has had deep playoff runs, that has been in deep playoff runs, that has been in big moments, knows what it takes to get the job done and win. And you need those guys, right? And I'm very excited to see how the second half of the season goes for Dorian Finney-Smith. I think he has done just a stellar job thus far. And I think he's going to just continue to improve, especially under Luka. Because, again, Luka now has a guy that he can trust, confide in, and look to. Like, I think Jackson Hayes and Dorian Finney-Smith are going to be on the court a ton alongside Luka. Because, again, Dorian Finney-Smith gives Luka that guy that understands where Luka likes his guys to be on the court. And then Jackson Hayes is that lob threat for Luka. So look forward to that as we continue to progress into the season and get through these last 30 games. I really want to see the Lakers go 18-12 at worst. 20-10 would be great, but we'll see. Time will tell. Got a brutal March schedule. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What do you think of Dorian Finney-Smith's season thus far? What do you think of his performance thus far? Have you been impressed with what he's done for the Lakers since they acquired him via trade? Do you want to see more from him, less from him? I think he's going to play a much bigger role as we move into this upcoming season. So let me know how you feel. Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.